We continue now at the top of Daf Chav Chesam and Aleph and Meseches Rosh Hashana. This is Rosh Hashana Daf 28a. The Gemara here continues with a statement of Rabbah. Shama mixas tekiya babor. Let's say a person heard part of the tekiya in the pit. Mixas tekiya al svas habor. And then part of the tekiya was heard on the edge of the pit. So yotza, so in that case he is yotze. Rashi over here explains. Kasal gadai right now we think as follows. Da'achikam, here's what it means to say. Haya omed hu b'svas habor. Let's say he's standing at the edge of the pit. V'chaveiro tokea babor. And then his friend is being tokeya in the pit itself. V'yotza l'chutz b'chatzi atkiya. And then the person leaves the pit halfway through blowing. V'yashminan hachad v'ksas nami yotze. So the chiddush of Rabbah is, even though the first half he wasn't yotze, because again, when you're at the edge of the pit, you're not yotze because you're hearing the echo. But then the person emerged from the pit, so the last half of the tekiya he heard properly. So Rabbah is saying that you're yotze in that situation. That's what we think Rabbah means. Mixas tekiya kodem shi'alam and hashachar. And then Rabbah continues. Let's say you hear part of the tekiya before Amud Hashachar, when it's not the time for the blowing of the shofar. The blowing of the shofar is supposed to take place during the day. Mixas tekiya la'achar shi'alam Amud Hashachar. But then he hears part of the tekiya after Amud Hashachar, at the time when it is the mitzvah. So in that case, lo yotze is not yotze because he didn't hear the entire tekiya at the time of the chiyuv. So the Gemara continues. Amar le Abaye. So Abaye says to Rabbah, "Ma'ishna hasam devaina kula tekiya b'chiyuva v'leka." What's the difference over there? You said it's a problem in the case of Amud Hashachar because you need the whole tekiya to be heard at the time of the chiyuv. You don't have that. So hachanami. So here also in the case of the pit, ba'ina kula tekiya b'chiyuva v'leka. Don't you need the entire blowing of the shofar in chiyuv, meaning in the proper place, and you don't have it? So Abaye is basically asking, what's the difference if you hear part of the tekiya in the bor and part outside of the bor? There you said you're yotze, but part of it before Amud Hashachar, part of it after Amud Hashachar, suddenly that's a problem. And so the Gemara answers, no, hachi hashta. What kind of comparison is that? Hasam alayla lavs man chiyuvahu klal. Over there, when part of it is at night, nighttime is not the time of chiyuv at all. But hacha bor makom chiyuvahu laosan homdim babor. But when it comes to the pit, to those people standing in the pit, like we said, they can be yotze. So the tekiya itself actually is a kosher tekiya. It just depends on where you're standing. And therefore, when the person emerges and the person who's outside the pit hears part of that tekiya outside of the pit, that's going to be okay. But the Gemara continues, Lememra, does this mean to say, the Sava Rabbah, that Rabbah holds, Shama Sof tekiya, below tchilas tekiya, yotza, that if you hear the end of a tekiya without hearing the beginning, because again, the beginning was inside the pit, so he didn't hear it properly, apparently you're still yotze. Umemela, and memela we would understand from this, tchilas tekiya, below Sof tekiya, yotza, that if you hear the beginning of the tekiya without hearing the end of the tekiya, you would also be yotze. But is that really true? Tashma, come and hear the following proof. Taka b'rishonu mashach b'shniya kishtayim. Let's say in the first tekiya you have a set of, let's say, tekiya, true tekiya. So the first tekiya he blows properly, but then the second tekiya he blows extra long. He wants it to count as the last tekiya of the first set and to count as the first tekiya of the second set. So ein biyado el achas. It says that it only counts as one. You can't break up one tekiya to count for two. And so the Gemara says, 1 second, V'amai, why should that be true? According to Rabbah, to salik labetarti, it should count as 2 tekiyas, because again, you only need to hear part of the tekiya to be yotze, so that one long tekiya should count as 2 tekiyas. It should count as the last one of the first set and the first one of the next set. And to that, the Gemara answers, Psuke, tekiyasa me'adadi lo paskinon. Even though you only have to hear part of a tekiya to be yotze, but to split one tekiya up and make it count as 2, we don't go that far. That's not going to be okay. And the Gemara continues, Tashma, come in here, another proof. We said earlier, Hatokei l'soch habor, l'soch hadus, or l'soch hapitus, im kol shofar shama yatsa, im kol havara shama lo yatsa. We said again, if he blows into a pit, or a cistern, or he blows into a large jug, so if he hears the shofar, then he's yotze. But if he hears the echo, then you're not yotze. So the Gemara says, V'amai, why should that be true? Lepuk betchilas tekiya, mekame de la'arvev kala. Right at the beginning, when the person first blows the tekiya, there is no echo. So that first moment, since you only have to hear part of the tekiya, he should be yotze with that, according to Rabbah. And so the Gemara says, no, you misunderstood Rabbah. Ki ka'ama Rabbah b'tokei av'ola l'nafshe. Rabbah was talking about when the person is blowing for himself. So while he's in the pit, it's fine, because again, if you're in the pit, when you're blowing in the pit, that's fine. And then he himself comes out of the pit, so he's out of the pit together with the shofars, that's also fine. In other words, the person heard the entire tekiya properly, because while he was blowing in the pit, he himself was in the pit. It's not a problem. But the Gemara says, Yachi, if so, if that's what Rabbah was saying, my lememra, what do you even need to say that for? It's obvious. Everything was kosher. Why should it be a a problem. So the Gemara says, no, Mao Detema, what might you have thought? Zimnin demapik reishe ve'akati shofar babor. Maybe sometimes the person's head will come out, but the shofar is still going to be in the pit. It's possible that it's going to end up happening that part of that tekiah is not going to be good. The kama arviv kala, now you have a mixture of the sound again because you have the echo. So kamash malan, that's what Rav is teaching, that we're not worried about this issue. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rav Yehuda says, B'shofar shel ola lo yiska. Let's say you have a shofar from a carbon ola, so lechatchila he shouldn't blow shofar with that. But if he does blow shofar using the shofar of a carbon ola, he's going to be yotzei the mitzvah. B'shofar shel shlamim, if it comes to the shofar from an animal that's a carbon shlamim, lo yiska, again lechatchila he shouldn't blow shofar. V'imtaka lo yotze, and if he does blow the shofar with the shofar of a shlamim, he's not going to be yotzei at all. So the Gemara says, my time, and what's the reason? Why is there a difference between shofar shel ola and shofar shel shlamim? So the Gemara explains, ola bas me'ilahi, when it comes to a carbon ola, so if you use it for personal benefit, then it's considered what we call me'ilah. And kevan demal ba nafkala lechulin. The halach is once you do me'ilah, so then the item goes to chulin, so it's no longer considered a part of a carbon ola, and therefore that's why you're yotze in the case of an ola. If you actually do the tekiah with a shofar shel ola, you're going to be yotze because it's nafak lechulin. It goes to chulin. Shlamim, now when it comes to carbon shlamim, the lav b'nei me'ilah ninu. So by a carbon shlamim, so it's not really me'ilah by carbon shlamim. So isurahu derachiv b'hu, it's just an iser. V'lo nafki lechulin, it never goes to chulin. So therefore, again, if you blow with the shofar shel shlamim and it never goes lechulin, it always really is a shofar shel shlamim. So you're not going to be yotzei. So the Gemara continues. Maskif lo Rava. Rava asks, Ema small. 1 second. Even in the situation of the carbon ola, at what point in time is there me'ilah? Levas or detaka. It's after you actually get the benefit by blowing the tekiah. So ki kataka bi surataka. So that means at the moment of the tekiah, there still was isser at that time. So therefore, it should be a problem. So Elohim Rava, so the Gemara says, rather Rava says, echad zeh v'echad zeh lo yatsa. It doesn't make a difference whether you're talking about the carbon shlamim or the ola. Even by the ola, the me'ilah is too late, and therefore you're not going to be yotzei. But Hadar Amar, but then Rava changed his mind and he said, Echad zeh v'echad zeh yotze. In both cases, you actually are yotze if you blow, whether it's the shlamim, whether it's the ola. Why? Because mitzvahs lav lehanos nitnu. Because when it comes to mitzvahs, so they're not for personal benefit anyway. You're not getting personal benefit. That's not what a mitzvah is considered, and therefore it's not an issue b'di'evid. And we'll take a look at Rashi over here. Rashi says, Shel ola, again, you take a shofar from a carbon ola, v'tal shumei. The case over here is, you actually detach the shofar from the animal while it's alive, again, ready to be brought as a carbon ola. The ilu lachar zrika. Now, if we're talking about after you shech the animal and you do the sprinkling of the blood in the mizbeach, so ein me'ilah. At that point in time, there is no me'ilah. Lo ba'ora v'lo b'karneh. It wouldn't apply to the hide. It wouldn't apply to the horns either. Sha'kol la'kohanim, because everything goes to the kohanim at that point in time. K'damrina v'menachas, like it says in menachas. Uvizvachem nemar lo yiyeh ba'ola v'nemar lo yiyeh ba'asham. Ma'asham atzmosem mutar and afola atzmosem mutar. And again, like we said, just like a carbon asham, the bones are mutter. So again, after the zrika already, when it comes to the horns, when it comes to the bones, it would all be mutter. Shlamim la'av b'nei me'ilah ninu, and the Gemara said a carbon shlamim, there is no me'ilah. De'ein me'ilah b'kachim kalim, because a carbon shlamim is what we call a kachim kalim. It's the lighter kind, the more lenient kind, so to speak, of kachim, and there's no me'ilah. Ela be'imurim alachar zrika. The only time you have me'ilah by shlamim is when you have the stuff that's supposed to be burned on the mizbeach after zrika, that's already supposed to go to the mizbeach, that would be me'ilah. Keshehuvru l'chei l'gavo. Once you separate it out to go l'gavoa, to go to the mizbeach, so then it would be me'ilah. But then finally the Gemara said, lo lehanos ninu. It's not considered personal benefit when you're blowing the shofar to do a mitzvah. Li Yisrael, it's not made for the benefit, so to speak, for our personal benefit. Lios kiyumam lahem hana. That's not considered a benefiting from hektish. Ela la'ol al tzavareim ninu. It's just something that's a yoke upon their necks, meaning it's an obligation, and therefore that's why he ended up saying that b'diavad by both of them, whether it's carbon shlamim, whether it's carbon ola, if you use those shofaros, you're going to be yotzei. The Gemara continues. Amar Rav Yehuda says, b'shofar shel avodah zarah. Let's say you have a shofar that was used to serve avodah zarah. So again, lo yiska lechatchila, you shouldn't use it to blow the tekiah to be yotzei the mitzvah. V'im taka yotza, but if he does do it, so then he's still going to be yotzei. Rashi says it's the same reason, because when you do a mitzvah, that's not really considered benefit. So you're not supposed to get benefit from avodah zarah or from things that were used to serve avodah zarah. But if b'di'evet you do blow shofar, you are yotzei the mitzvah. That's not considered personal benefit. It's not considered getting hana. B'shofar shel ir hanidachas. Now, let's say you have a shofar of an ir hanidachas. That's a city that has to be destroyed. Everything in the city has to be burned because of the fact that they served avodah zarah. So again, lo yiska lechatchila, you shouldn't use such a shofar to be yotze the mitzvah. V'imtaka lo yotze. In this case, if you do blow the shofar with a shofar of an ir hanidachas, you're not going to be yotze. My time, what's the reason? Ir hanidachas ksuse michsas shiure. When it comes to ir hanidachas, since everything is going to be burned, everything is considered not to have a shear. It's not considered to have any size at all, so it doesn't meet the minimum size requirement, the minimum shear requirement of a shofar. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rava says, Hamudar hana mechaver. Let's say somebody takes an oath, he's not going to get any benefit from his friend. Mutar l'skoalo t'kiyah shel mitzvah. That person is allowed to blow shofar on his behalf again, because that's not considered deriving benefit, because like we said before, mitzvahs are not considered to be a benefit to the person. And the Gemara continues, Hamudar hana mishofar. Let's say a person says he takes an oath not to get benefit from this particular shofar. Again, the same basic idea. Mutar l'skoabo t'kiyah shel mitzvah. He can use that shofar for the t'kiyah of the mitzvah. Again, that's not considered deriving personal benefit. V'yamar Rav, and the Gemara continues, Rava says, Hamudar hana mechavero. Let's say somebody says he's not going to get any benefit from his friend, he takes an oath. Maza olav mechatas, the person is allowed to sprinkle on him the mechatas, that's the waters that were used to purify a person when he was tameh. So he's allowed to do that, bimos hageshamim, but he's only allowed to do that in the rainy season, because then all that's happening is the purification process. There is no actual benefit to the body, because it's the rainy season. Avalo bimos hachama, but he can't do it during the hot season, during the summer, because then there's a pleasure to the body. And again, he said he wasn't going to get benefit. Now he's getting this benefit by getting this water sprinkled on him in the summer season. And the Gemara continues, Hamudar hana mimayin. Let's say somebody takes an oath not to get benefit from a spring. So tovil bo tvila shel mitzvah bimos hagasham. Again, the same idea. He can immerse for the purpose of a tvila shel mitzvah, for the purpose of purification in the rainy season, because there's no other benefit from that immersion. It's the rainy season. There's no real benefit other than the mitzvah benefit. But again, in the summer season when it's hot, so then he's getting a pleasure to the body, and this person took an oath not to get any benefit, so that's going to be a problem. And the Gemara continues, Shalchu leile avud Shmuel. They sent to the father of Shmuel the following message, Kafo v'achal matzah yotza. Let's say something forces the person to eat matzah, he's yotze the mitzvah on Pesach of eating matzah. So the Gemara wants to clarify, Kafo man, who's the one that forced this person to eat the matzah? If you're going to say what happened is a demon forced him. In other words, almost like the person went insane, he had no intent whatsoever, and that's how he ate the matzah, so he's yotze. But that doesn't make sense. But we learned in a brayso, itim cholim, itim shota. Let's say you have a person who goes in and out. Sometimes he's sane, sometimes he's insane. So kishu cholim hareyu kepikeach l'chol devarav. While the person is sane, he's considered like a regular normal person. He's chayiv in mitzvahs. Kishu shota, but when the person's considered a shota at the time that he's insane, hareyu keshota l'chol devarav. He's considered a shota, and he's not obligated in mitzvahs. So it wouldn't make any sense if a shade was forcing him to eat the matzah, but at that moment in time, he wouldn't be chayiv in the mitzvah anyway. And so the Gemara continues, Amar Rav Ashi says, no, the case was as follows. Shakafu parsiyim. The case was the Persians were the ones that forced him to eat the matzah. As Rashi over here says, Shakafu parsiyim, v'yava gav shalon eskavein lotzis yidechovas matzah, b'leil rishon shel pesach yotza. The chiddush is, even though he was having no intention of eating for the purpose of fulfilling the obligation of the mitzvah to eat matzah on Pesach, on the first night of Pesach, he's still going to be yotze. So the Gemara says, Amar Rava says, Zo Someris, this halacha proves, Hatokeya l'shir yatsa, that the same thing would be true. Let's say a person blows shofar just for the purpose of the music, he should be yotze, he's not having any intention, but apparently you don't need to have intention, just like the case of the matzah. Rashi over here says, Hatokeya l'shir, l'shorer u'l'zamer, he's doing it for the music. Kach shamati mipimori hazak, and that's what I heard from my Rebbe. Uviyasodo Shalmori Rabbi Yitzchak ben Yehuda Reisi. He says, I saw in the explanation of Rabbi Yitzchak ben Yehuda, he saw Hatokeya l'shade lavriach ruach ramel. If it's not talking about Tokeya l'shir, it's not talking about blowing shofar for music, but you're doing it in order to get the demons away, in order to get the ruach ra away. But it's the same basic idea. Again, you're not having intention for the mitzvah, and apparently you're yotze. So the Gemara says, Pshita, it's obvious. What are you even saying? Of course, if it's true by the case of matzah, for sure it's true by shofar. What do you even need to say, Zo Someris, that this proves that Tokeya l'shir is yotze? Of course it's an identical case. Hainu it's exactly identical. It's not even a chiddush. So the Gemara says, no, it is a chiddush. Mao detema, what might you have thought? Hasam achol matzah amar achmana. V'achal, by the mitzvah of matzah, the Torah says to eat matzah. And this person, he ate the matzah. Rashi over here explains. He derived benefit. Maybe the mitzvah is to eat and get benefit from it. We have a similar idea. Let's say a person is not really paying attention, but he ends up eating chaylev, or he ends up doing arayas, and he gets benefit, so the person is chayiv. That's the halacha by chayiv chatas. So the same thing should be true over here. At the end of the day, the person derived benefit, so maybe you only say it by matzah that he fulfills the mitzvah, and we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Chavches Amud Beis.